Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Friday night. I'm here by my lonesome. No Fab next to me, but she's a little bit tired. Maybe she'll show up, maybe she won't. I don't know. It's been a week. Had all the family over. I hope everyone's had a great holiday, right? There's been a lot of interesting stuff in the news, and I didn't cover a lot of it because it was holidays, but we could talk about anything tonight. Maybe some of the stuff that happened in the news. I have a video that was going to come out today. I decided to hold off on it. I might release it tomorrow, if not on Monday. And here's a little preview sketch. I do that sometimes, right? Because it's all about the numbers and, like, I don't know, Delta V and stuff like that. So that's what you're going to be looking forward to on Monday. Anyways, let's say hello to everyone. If you can hear me and everything sounds pretty decent, everything's copacetic, let me know in the chat so I know that I'm not talking to myself. Everything is good. Radioactive Texan, thank you for being here. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, everyone. I can't believe it's like 2026. How's that even a thing? I don't even know. I don't even get it. Thomas in the house. Thank you so much, Thomas, for being here. Old Man Dom, Happy New Year. Appreciate you all being here. Let's see. John is here. John K. Wolf from hot Texas. Yeah, it is not hot here. We're in Florida. It's supposed to be hot, but according to what I'm seeing, it's going to be a low of 42 tonight. What is going on with that? 42 in Florida. That's just too cold. Kind of crazy. Let me see. Is everyone hearing me good? Yes, maybe. Yes, good. Hear you fine. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Let's see. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Robot Andy in the house. How you doing, Robot Andy? Welsh and Sons Farms is here. It says, are we there yet, Joseph? JC, I hear Shannon loves the new year. I think so. Mo, let me see. I did see Mo, I think, at the bottom down here. Yes, Mo is in the house. He made it. How you doing, Mo? Thank you for being here. We'll be talking some odd stuff. I did a video, I don't know, like 2-3 days ago. I figure it wasn't going to do very well with the general population. Because it's a little bit more like, I don't know, highbrow. I talked about SpaceX and Starship and, of course, NASA, AI, and how life began on Earth. And, you know, obviously it's just a lot of just thought, deep thought on different subjects, different parts of that, pieces of the puzzle, I guess. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. So, Mo, this might be in your wheelhouse. So we'll see. Talk about aliens and Elon and how he's never seen an alien. I don't know. He's never looked at himself in the mirror. Anyways, let's see. Howdy, Peter Gosling. Thank you for being here, Peter. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the support, people. Thank you, Peter. Let's see. Moving down here. Our GSD rules. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Jeffrey Ellis, 128438. Hello. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Who else is here? Mick is in the house. Charles Realm, Brad is here. Let's see. Michael, Weird32, Fragile is in the house. Who else we got here? Tom Moslington, 8330. All right. Here from snowy north central PA. Yeah, there's no snow here in Florida, but damn, it's cold. 42 is pretty cold for here. Definitely cold. Shannon is in the house. He just dropped a massive 50 bomb of free memberships. Holy shit. Thank you, Shannon. That is awesome. What does he have here? Official on air. Purple hair. Yes, I do have it, but Fabiola is supposed to be sitting here, but she's not. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see. You know what? Let me ask you guys real quick as I'm going through everyone. In the chat, let me know if you watched that last video that I did. All right. The the Starlink deal, I mean the SpaceX and the NASA AI with the how life began and all that stuff. Let me know down there if you've seen it. So I know that if I'm talking to you and you know what I'm talking about because you've already listened to my nonsense, or if I need to recap any of it. Because I think it's interesting. You know, it doesn't really matter what side of the fence you are, religious, not religious, somewhere in between, aliens, no aliens, all the rest of this stuff. We still had to got here somewhere, right? So it's kind of fun to talk about. And with the with that 3i Atlas, that one that everyone, you know, that the big brick that came by at 134,000 miles per hour, that was like a big deal. A lot of people said, that has to be under its own propulsion because it's going so fast. Not really. But either way. And then, of course, Bennu, the asteroid that we landed on a couple of years ago, and they finally did some studies on that asteroid and the pieces that were returned, which really turned out to be amazing because the samples that they received ended up having 14 amino acids encapsulated in this polymer on the rock. And you'd say, well, 14 amino acids, you need 20 amino acids for life. So why would they only ship 14? Is this alien? Is it not? Why is there only 14? Well, they took the polymer, which is actually HMT. They broke it down in acidic water, basically, and it formed, very interestingly enough, it formed a couple of compounds, a couple of substances. Formaldehyde is number one. And what's interesting is when you take the two compounds, you end up with the balance to get to 20. So you end up with the 6 amino acids that are missing. So when you break down the encasing that was shipped in, all of a sudden now you have the full complete 20 amino acids needed for life. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. What do you think about all that? I thought it was very interesting because that's not something that you would think would happen. So it was like formaldehyde and what was it, ammonia. And those two would end up making the other 6. So anyways, that's what we were talking about in this video. And like I said, if you saw it, you didn't see it, let me know. Thank you so much, Shannon, for that 50 free membership. So if you got a free membership from Shannon, please say thank you. I mean, he supports the channel so much. Really appreciated him, Peter, all the rest of you guys. Really appreciate everything you guys do. It's a new year. We're going to do just a bang-up job this year. I see Shannon has been here for 24 months. Holy shit. Very deep. That's a bit. That's a bit. 24 months. That's a while. That's a while. Yeah. So, like I said, let me know if you guys have seen that video or not. Let's see, Fragile is here. Let me just keep saying hello to everybody. Make sure that I don't miss anyone. If you are new, put your name in there so I can say hello to you. We're just going to be hanging out today, talking the talk, doing the thing like we always do. Speed Racer 7964, thank you for being here. Peter says, did you see the Starlink moving all their satellites closer to the this year? Like this, Peter. Like I'm talking about Delta V here, different orbital inclinations. I spoke also about the different low Earth orbit positions and whatnot. So this is what you're going to see, I guess, in Monday's video. So yes, the video will be coming out about what you're asking on Monday. And I kind of dive in a little bit deeper. You know how I do, right? I just, I watch all the other channels as much as I can. And then, when if they just glaze through something, then I try to do a follow-up to give you more information. That's what I do on this channel, right? Kind of break it down, do the math so you don't have to. Anyways, so yeah, that's what Monday's video is going to be about. If you guys don't know, what Peter was saying is SpaceX is dropping lower from 560 kilometers. They're dropping 50%, it's actually 49% of their entire fleet from 560 kilometers down to 480 kilometers. And they did it basically as an answer to what happened recently with one of their satellites that was literally 30 days old that exploded. The propellant tank ruptured, and luckily it blew all of the shrapnel, all of the debris towards the planet and not away from the planet, because the ISS was up there too. So that would not have been a good thing. But it blew all the debris down towards the planet, which is nice. So the other thing that just happened was the Chinese launched 9 satellites. And, the weather satellites, the Earth watching satellites, the spy satellites, okay? And what happens is they don't tell us when they launch these satellites because they don't really want us to know about it, like if we're not going to know. NORAD watches every frickin' thing that moves in the sky. Don't let them kid you. Every single thing NORAD sees. They even see the weather balloons that they've claimed to not see last year, 2 years ago, whatever the hell it was. They see those. They see everything. Anyways, the bottom line here is one of those satellites that was launched by China ended up coming within 100 or 200 meters from one of the SpaceX Starlink satellites. And of course, the satellite had to make evasive maneuvers, as they do. But I guess Elon didn't like that either. So he said, we're going to move out of this shell, the shell being that 53-degree inclination by 560 kilometers in space. We're going to move out of that, and we're going to move it down to 480. And the reason why he's doing it, once again, is twofold. For the Chinese, with what just happened with them, and then also with what happened with their satellite that ended up bursting. They don't want to... So Elon doesn't want to have pieces floating around in low Earth orbit for longer than they have to be there. And that's why you want to place your satellites as close to Earth as possible, with the understanding that the delta V that is available on each individual satellite is going to be finite. Delta V basically meaning the amount of movement available to them. It's delta, it's velocity. Anyways, the amount of, let's easily to term it as the amount of movement that they can do with the amount of propellant and the thrusters that they have on that mass, okay? That's your delta V, and it's a finite amount. So like the old satellites, the version 1s had like a 400 delta V, 400 ms, because delta V is described in meters per second. Once again, it's that movement. How far can you go? It's not about how much energy you have. It has nothing to do with that. It's just how much, and not how much propellant either, because it's all relative to the mass, to the structure. Anyways, the bottom line is it started out like with the version 1s, they're about 400 was their delta V, meters per second, and then it went up to 500 to 600 with the version 1.5s, and now the 2.0 minis, they have a delta V right around 800 to 1200. So it's a mass improvement, actually more than a doubling when it comes to delta V, the amount of ms, the amount of meters per second that can be moved, shucked and jived, right? So that is a bunch. But once again, it's a finite amount. So the more they have to move around and dodge shit, well, the amount of time that they can be in orbit continuously just dwindles away. So you don't want to move them too much. But currently, the 9,000 satellites are moving about 250,000, about 250,000 times in totality per year. So they're moving about, 7, 8, 9 times each satellite per month, somewhere around there, if you do the math. You know I like math. Anyways, I see a kick over here. I appreciate that, Welsh Sut Farms. Let's see. If you guys have a question, put in @JCristina. I'll find it a lot easier. Word 32 says, did you get an email from Starlink 2025 progress report? I did not see that, but I haven't been through my mail because there's over 600 emails in there during the holidays. I haven't been looking at them. I've been kind of honestly neglecting the email because I've been with the family a lot. So bear with me. Now that it's January, things are starting to get back into the swing of things. I'm going to get that inbox down to 0 sooner than later. All right. So I will check. But yeah, I would like to go through that and see what that is. Let's see. Billy Z says, hey, Joe, where are you with some brief instructions going from version 2 to version 3? What do you mean by that? Where are you with some brief instructions going from version 2 to version 3? Are you talking about the version 2 minis to the version 3, like on the maxis? Are you talking about the satellites? Or are you talking about like a Gen 2 to a Gen 3 when it comes to the actual kits? What are you talking about, Billy? Billy, tell me. And maybe I can tell you. Let's see. Once again, if you have a question, at JCristina. At JCristina. I got a question. HCLXX. Cisco says, I got a question. I recently got the Starlink mine, I guess mini, for free. I'm currently using Generation 3 Starlink, but do I need to plug in the mini? Do I need to plug in the mini to update? So, or can I just leave it in the box? Yeah, so plug in the mini. Plug in the mini, and if you're not going to use the mini, pay the $5 per month and put it on standby. It used to be pause, now it's called standby. The reason they call it standby, I believe it's standby now. The reason they call it that is because you're not really pausing it, you're not stopping it. It's on, but it's giving you 500 kilobits, not megabits, kilobits, 500 kilobits up, 500 kilobits down. It's so that it stays current. All right, it downloads the latest firmware, it reboots when it needs to, it downloads software, it does all the shit that it needs to do. So then when you're ready to use that mini because you're going on this wonderful vacation, you don't have a brick. You have something that you can use, right? So pay the $5, trust me, what is it, $60 a year, whatever. It's well worth it, okay? So do that. Yes, turn the damn thing on. Let it sit out there, throw it out front for an hour or two, let it reboot, let it do its thing. It's worth it. Hey, from chilly Wisconsin. I can't even imagine how cold it is in Wisconsin. If it's going to be 42 here in Florida, holy shit. Oh my God. 21 is expected in Ohio. Yee, that's half the temperature that we have here in Florida. And again, in Florida, we shouldn't have 42. But we do. Let's see. Moving on here. Once again, if you have a question, at JCristina. Let's see. Peter's thanking Shannon for the gifted memberships. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Peter. Mo, what does Mo have to say? If you have received a member gift from Shannon, please mention. Yes, absolutely, Mo. Thank you so much for that. We have Run Boy. Thank you for being here, Run Boy. Run Boy 7426. Old man Dom in the house. Let's see, Alan. How are you doing, Alan? I just got here. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Fridays, I call it Free Speech Friday a lot of times. We just kind of like shoot the shit here, we talk just about anything. So like if you have a question, it could be something that is in the studio or what I'm using to do this crazy shit that I do. Or, what do I do, besides this, or whatever your questions are, just stick them in there. Like I said, if you watched the last video and you have questions about that, let me know. I was just fired up about that one. I really, really enjoyed the last video, but YouTube doesn't enjoy the videos that I enjoy, so it doesn't propagate them. It doesn't put them out there. So instead of the video having 50, 60, 100,000 views, it got like 2,000 or 3,000 views. This is what happens with YouTube. If you don't comply and make what they want you to make, they penalize you for it. Believe it or not, that's just the way it is, all right? So as content creators, a lot of times people will say, well, why doesn't that content creator create anything but this or anything but that? And the answer to that is because YouTube pigeonholed them into creating X or creating Y or Z. And if they deviate from that, you might as well be talking to yourself because they don't push it. They don't put it out there. So we have 151,000 of you, I think, somewhere around there. It's a bunch. 151,000. So when I see a video get like 2,000 views, you know they didn't advertise it to 150-some thousand people because more than 2,000 people would have clicked on it. Just do the math, right? Math. Math doesn't lie, guys. Math doesn't lie. So, but this is the bullshit that they do, and that's just the way it is. You know, you're a little fish playing in a big fish's pond and trying not to get eaten. This is what ends up happening. Anyways, Free Speech Friday, that's what we're talking shit about YouTube. And the thing is, which is really amazing, people don't understand this, is that everything that we say in these videos as content creators is being transcribed on the fly and run through AI. So if it doesn't like something that I'm saying, like right now, it will automatically not promote this live at all. It'll like basically turn it off. It'll go gray. You won't even hear about it. No one will get notifications anymore or whatever. It's really amazing how effective they are at controlling narrative, but that goes into a whole nother deeper level. But just rationalize that for a second, okay? Everything you see and hear on YouTube is being curated for you. Keep that in mind. Same thing happens on Google. I wonder why. Could it be the same company? Oh, it is the same company. Ah, now I get it. See, that makes sense now. I get it. Alphabet, $1 trillion company. Yes. Let's see. Wanna be John off grid. Okay. How you doing? Wanna be John off grid? Thanks for being here. You're my new go-to. Listen, I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, please, at JCristina. I'll try to answer them for you tonight. From Canada, from Brunswick. I can't even imagine. Canada must be damn cold. Holy hell. Man. Yes, watched all the way through. Fragile watched my crazy ass video. Yeah, I got a lot of shit for that video. And I knew I was going to, you know, because people were like, oh, you don't believe in God. You know, they do that kind of thing because, you know, they'll write to me in the chat and they'll, you know, talk crap because I'm talking about, you know, amino acids and the coming together and lightning and all kinds of other stuff that is plausible. It doesn't mean that it is, but then I'll always get the guy that says, you know, you don't need to go through all this math. Just understand this, Joe. God made the heaven and he made the earth. And then basically he drops the mic and just leaves me at that. And you know what? If that works for you, I think it's actually better because you don't even have to think of anything anymore. That's just it. It's just simply just like that. And being a Catholic, that's what I was trained on all my life. But also being not only an artist, but also like a technician, you know, that works on technical stuff and science and, you know, math all the time. I'm always like this free thinker. So I'm like in between the two. So I kind of look at both sides of it, from the spiritual side to the actual mathematical side, and kind of try weighing the two, which never will weigh, but it's just fun to be able to do it, right? And that's what I did in that video. But yeah, maybe I'll go through some of it tonight because I just had a lot of fun with it. I'll ask you guys some deep questions is what I'll do about that video and see what you guys think about it. Because I love to hear what people think about this kind of stuff. You know, the whole idea of aliens and, you know, where we came from and all the rest of this stuff, right? Do we just pop up here? You know, just on a side note, Elon Musk is quoted in saying, listen, you know, we might be the only candle flickering in the universe. And I just think that is just absolutely preposterous because we're not talking about the galaxy, but we're talking about the universe. We're talking about millions and millions of galaxies like the Milky Way. So you're talking about just billions of planets. And to say that we would be the only planet that could possibly have sprouted life is just, I don't know, myopic, egotistical. I mean, I don't know. You could make a whole litany. It just doesn't make any sense, you know. Even if you didn't believe in, you know, something, and you were like the person that believed in the panspermia, which is basically, panspermia is the idea of like a dandelion, where all the seeds are in the dandelion, go, and they're blown off in the wind, and they'll go and they'll carry for miles, 10 miles, and then they'll land in fertile soil, and what do you get? More dandelions. You know, so a lot of people believe in that too, where, you know, there was something blew up way back, who knows when, and then chunks came here, and that's where, you know, we came from. And if that is the case, then we are basically the aliens, right? We are a backup of their society. We are the backup. Basically what Elon Musk is trying to do with a rifle, by taking us, our DNA, and shooting it over there to Mars, is the same thing that would have happened 7 billion years ago, but a shotgun effect with 1 trillion small shards, when I say small, asteroid-sized shards that had life on it, you know, the building blocks of life, like RNA, sugar, 20 amino acids required for life, and this sort of thing. Anyways, let's get into some more before I go too deep into that. And hydros. Anyway, let's see what other questions. You have any questions? Put them in here. Let me see. At JCristina. Let's see. Mo says, they've seen it, and you were in the right area. Spot and fine grain is the microbes. Life sprinkling over the blue ball. That, yeah. Mo, talk about it, Mo. Let me hear it. Let me hear your thoughts. I tell people that I'm an alien all the time. You are an alien. If you're here on the planet, well, you're an alien, because, I mean, in my personal opinion, because I don't think we just popped up here, just out of like one day, all of a sudden, you know, a microbe turned to us. It's hard to believe. So, but yeah, I think we are from, you know, I think that we're all stardust, right? Because remember, H2O is the antenna of life. Without H2O, you don't have life. That's all you have is dust, right? So water is that special thing that any planet would have to be able to facilitate our sort of life. Anyways, John says, I've been hearing that Starlink is going to replace the Mini with a new one that is faster and around. Yeah. So yeah, I said this. Remember, John? Remember I said don't buy a Mini if you don't have to. I said this like around October of last year. I said by first quarter of next year, maybe second quarter, we're going to see a new line of Starlink equipment. And the reason being is they are going to facilitate the connection with the new connections that they bought, right? The new frequencies that they now own, right? So there's going to be that. And then, of course, also the version 3 Starlink satellites are going to most likely have additional features. Gigabit connection, and wait for it, 10 gigabit connection. You didn't hear it from me. You didn't hear it from me. Okay? I don't want to hear it later on. People will be like, yeah, I said this guy, he told us 10 gig. You didn't hear it from me. Anyways, yes. Okay, you're going to see some pretty freaking crazy speeds. Hang in there. The satellites are getting lower. The latency is going to get shallower. We're going to see the sub 20 milliseconds all the time. I predicted 12 to 15 milliseconds. I think I'm right. And we're going to see gigabit. Hang in there. Hang in there. Mick says, I was on the road today heading back to Nashville from East Tennessee. Use my Starlink Mini in the dash. I love that. People do that all the time. In maintenance mode, and it's still used at VPN. Yeah, absolutely. So people don't realize this, but being an asshole that used AT&T for about 25 years, DSL as well as UVerse, and received 0.75, you heard that right, not even 1 meg, 0.75 megs up and about 7 megs down. And then when we went to Uverse, they doubled it. Holy shit. We got 1.5 megs up and 15 megs down. Okay. So when I hear that they're giving you, or they're giving us for $5, 0.5 meg up and 0.5 meg down, I know what that is, because guys, I used to upload videos, okay, to YouTube at 0.75 megabits up. I compressed the shit out of it. If you go back to any of my old videos, because I wanted to do this, I wanted to convey my message, that's the only way I can do it. Anyway, so 0.5 is actually enough, not just for VPNs, for doing a lot of things. Surfing the web, doing all your banking, checking your email, doing basic wandering the web. And it's $5 a month, guys. And just like he said, you could take your Mini, throw it on your dash, plug it in to your cigarette lighter, and now you basically have internet connection. I don't care where you are. You could be on the top of a mountain somewhere where there's not a cell tower for 10 miles, and you'll still have internet. And if there was an emergency, you would still be able to communicate and let people know where you are and everything else. So anyways, yes, absolutely. That's why I keep saying the $5 per month is well worth it. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Phil is in the house. Thank you, Phil, for being here. It was a very thought-provoking, well done. Thank you so much for that. I'm glad you watched the video. Memorable Places said, question. What do you make of the letter that Starlink sent out with the attached? Okay, so I did not read the 2025 report, okay? So I didn't see this letter, so I can't comment on it, sadly. Is it over on their website? Let me switch over here. All right, this is their website, right? Is it somewhere here? No, I'm from rental resident, personal, whatever. No, let me go down here. Is there a letter someplace in here? No. I don't think so. All right. Well, let me just switch over to this. Yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on it. I can't comment on it because I really don't know. I didn't read it. Memorable Places. Sorry about that. Sorry. Let's see. Moving down. Speed Racer. Let's see. Where did I go? Man, see, I talk too much, and then there's like so many, and then, oh, God, hang in there. Here we go. All right, I'm going to go quick because I got to catch up. I seen your show earlier this week. Watch to the end. Thank you so much, Speed Racer. Appreciate you. 62 in Texas. That is from John. Audio is great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Temperature 52 right now. Where are you? You're in Homestead. Damn, 52 in Homestead. I thought it'd be cooler than that. All right, that's all right. After 4 years, I'm upgrading from the version 2 to a version 3. Any concerns? Okay, yes, that's from Billy. Billy, no, version 3, you'll love it, okay? It's better than version 2. The only thing that you're going to miss with the version 2 is a fully articulating head, meaning that head articulates 360 degrees, right? And it'll point itself. You have to go up on the roof to change the position or where it's pointing. So just bear that in mind. That's the only thing that really changes. You're going to get faster speeds. You're going to get lower latency. It's just a better antenna. It's a better unit. So you'll love it. Don't worry about it. Like I said, unless it's something whereas you need to place this dish in a location that you can't get to because it's like on the mast of a pole that someone put up there and you just can't get there. I mean, at that point, get the fully, keep your version 2. But if you get a version 3, any other use case, you're good. You'll love it. Let's see. Peter says, also anyone with Gen 1 routers get a free upgrade to Gen 2. I heard that too. That's kind of interesting. Radioactive Texan. I want $40 service back. Wouldn't that be cool? They got rid of that shit. That really kind of pissed me off, but you know what? I told everyone to get the freaking $40, and I'm not going to say that I did it, but let me just tell you, a lot of people, I got a lot of comments that they went to that $40 plan, and Elon's probably like, shit, we can't have all these people on the $40 plan, so they nixed it. But if you got the $40 plan, if you guys don't know what that, anyways, I'm not going to get into it. It's going to go on forever. If you got the $40 plan, you would be grandfathered into it until you change plans again. So if you have the $40 plan, you want the $40 plan, don't change anything, don't add anything, don't sneeze. Don't do anything, and you'll keep it. Your grandfather did. Noel, Lola, and 8L. When we're going to see speed boosts in Starlink speeds. Yeah, so hang in there. I would say first or second quarter of 2026 as we see the Starlink version 3s, version 3s put into orbit by Starship. So we got to make sure that that thing doesn't blow up anymore, and then we'll be pretty good. Let's see. Mark ignoring the emails like the bathroom. Yes, Mark. But the bathroom is done. Just got to put like some molding down or something. The bathroom is done. Finally, after like 6 years. No, it wasn't 6 years, but it was a while. Jay, are you replacing your Generation 1 system? SpaceX is offering. Yeah, no, I have the Generation 2, and that's for Word 32. After 4 years, I'm going to the upgrade. Okay, we got all that. Question, last week you mentioned powering up our version 1 Starlink router, and that I understood correctly, they would send okay, yeah. Mini router, how long did it need to be plugged into? So the reason I say is to power up those routers, if you have a Starlink and it's a kit that just sits in a closet for like 8 months out of the year, and then maybe you don't go on vacation or you don't go to your summer house and it sits there for another year, you might get to a point where it won't update anymore. So you kind of want to plug it in. It's important. Okay, just trust me. You know, I went through this about 2 or 3 years ago with a bunch of people that had their systems, and they would put them on like pause. They would just like throw them in a closet. And then when they tried using them, they'd be bricked. And then Starlink would be like, we got to send you a new one because you're too far back and it won't update or whatever. So yes, just keep them turned on every once in a while so that they can update themselves. It's definitely worth doing. Fragile says Generation 2 is almost 6 months. Yeah, I'm curious what the lifespan is. So I have a Generation 2 right now that is like dish number like 2000, 2004, something like that. Literally from the very beginning, I got the first 2000. Just think about that, right? Way back. So what is it? 2019, 2018, whatever, way back. 5 years ago now or something. And it's still working. It's still up there. Could I go buy another one? Sure, why not? But the thing's still working. And matter of fact, we're going to do a speed test while I'm going through this. I'm going to load this up real quick and see what kind of speeds we get. Because a lot of people, they give me shit and they're like, oh, you know, you're faking it. It's not real. The speeds that you show are not the real speeds. I'm like, no, it's the real speeds. Look, my latency. Can you see this? Let me go to the big screen. Here we go. See that? There we go. 20 milliseconds, uptime 99.9. My average is 20 milliseconds, guys. This is what Elon Musk has been talking about forever. Let's do a speed test. All right, here we go. We're going to do a speed test, see how good it is. Could be shit, I don't know. Here we go. 240, 250, 251, 255, 245. A little bit slower. I was getting in the 300s. I got up to like 360 the other day, which is crazy. Oh, 275. And here's your up speed, 24, 25. Not bad. I've had up to 43, I think it was, the other day, which is kind of cool. That was pretty fast. So 275 by 26, and we're at 24 milliseconds. So there you go. So that is my speed as of right now while we're broadcasting. Okay? So not bad. Can't beat that. And that's obviously real time. And like I said, I do that all the time because I get this, for some reason, people always say, like, when I show these numbers, like, I'll put them, they'll be like, oh, those are fake. I'm only getting this or whatever. I'm like, they're not fake. Trust me, I'm doing it. So that's why I do it on the live show on Fridays. People are always like, why do you always do a speed test? Well, now you know why. Let's see. Mick says, I stopped receiving notification of your videos about 2 weeks ago. I now have to look for your videos, even though they are marked to receive alerts. You see? Mick, this is from Mick. Mick, let me see. Pletcher. So look, that is a perfect example. Okay, you are marked or my videos are marked to be notified, right? So when I come out with a new video or when I go live, you should be notified. And there's an example where he does not get notification. He has to actually look to see if I put something out. This is the shit that they do all the time. But it's always done on the hush hush, like down low, right? They say, oh no, we don't do that. Well, there's evidence. There is evidence. I believe in evidence. I believe in seeing something to believe it, and there you go. I'm sure some of you guys are the same way. So when I talk to a representative over there at YouTube, they'll tell me, tell your members to unsubscribe, subscribe again, and then click the all button. I'm like, do they really need to do that? Why don't you fix your shit? Because you have a $1 trillion company, fix your shit, hire a whole bunch of kids, feed them frickin' Doritos and Mountain Dew, let them stay up for 30 days straight, and fix it. No, I should tell you guys to unsubscribe to my channel, subscribe again, click all, do the hokey pokey, touch your nose. I mean, give me a frickin' break. Okay, so, and that's the stuff that's just irritating. And you know, I'm not the only one. You'll hear it on other channels. Creators complain about this shit all the time. And now you know why. And that's why I like to make it public, so that you know when stuff is like weird, stuff doesn't make sense. Well, we have to fight a battle too, just to be able to interact with you guys, okay? They make it difficult. Here's another example. I want to send you a little video of maybe something in the studio or whatever. No. In the community page, I can only upload images and text. That's it. That's our correspondence. It's supposed to be our community page, right? I have a Discord, and of course I could use that. But I'm just saying, on YouTube itself, our community page where we can sit there and, you know, have a good time with, and I can like upload short videos. I can't do that. So why do you think they do that? I'll let some of you guys think about it. Why can I not upload a short video just for my community members and not for anyone else? Why? You guys think about it, right? You guys think about it. I'm sure there's going to be some smart guys out there saying, or gals saying, yeah, I got the answer to that. Yeah, put it in here. Let's see. Almost forgot. Wasn't thinking. That's from Low Tech Greg. How you doing, Low Tech Greg? Thank you for being here. Moving down. God also made the amino acids. There you go. God made the amino acids. Marine in the house. Yeah, it's freaking cool. No, not Marine. Is it Marine? Where? See, this thing keeps jumping around. Oh, here, Maine. Maine in the house. Yeah, I'm sure it's cold in Maine. Holy shit. Why does this thing jump around? There's another thing. See? Fix the UI. Fix the GUI, the graphical user interface. Fix it. YouTube, fix it. That's some shit. I know Alaska is in the negative numbers. I'm sure I don't want to be in Alaska. 16 degrees. Oh my God. No. What we got here? Next, they'll say that technically, Joe, God is the artist. He's Bob Ross. Well, there you go. God could be Bob Ross, Mo. I used to love that dude. He had the hair, didn't he? Bob Ross, that man. I used to be a kid and I would watch Bob Ross and I'd just sit there and drool myself and just watch him just pull out the mighty, what was it called? The mighty brush. And you go, pop, 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 pop. And next thing you know it, there was like a whole freaking scene. You're like, holy shit, he had this big freaking brush. How is it so beautiful? It looks like it was airbrushed. I love Bob Ross. Literally just watch him and just listen to him and just drool. Let's see, moving down here. If you have a question, put at JCristina. I see one down here from Mo. It says, I will send you a message to Fab. That way you can bring it up on the next. I will do that. Thank you. Send something over to Fab. How much does it cost to have Starlink installed? That's from Mark. I don't think it costs, I mean, I suppose you would have to go through someone that actually does the installation. I was hearing that they actually had some install process where they can do it. There's nothing to do though, okay? It's so simple. To have someone install it just doesn't make a lot of sense today. For me, I do consultations for people that want to do like installations of multiple machines, multiple boxes, major networks, that kind of stuff. So I'll do installation consultations, but it's for like, not for a house, you know, unless it's for, I did do a yoga house one time that was massive, 5 acres and multiple. Anyways, so yeah, unless it's a big network type of thing, whereas I have to figure out the network for you guys, that's the type of consult that I do. But as far as install, I mean, you should be able to install it yourself for the most part. Moving on. Let's see. Delta V velocity, absolutely. Yep. Delta V is calculated by M&S, right? M over S. So you got meters per second. That's just how they do it. Question. Okay, moving down here. If I didn't get your question because this thing jumped around, stick it in there again. Put it at JCristina and stick it in there. Remember what place says last week? Oh, I already did that one. Okay, good. All right, we're moving down. We're doing okay. All right, let's see. How about here? Real Mo, we got that one. This one. Let's see. Low Tech Greg says Elon should set the $5 plan at 56K. Just cause that would be funny, right? Or 1,200 baud, right? No, 300 baud. That'd be funny. That'd be fun. It'd be just cool for him to do stuff like that, right? And then do the burn, that whole thing, right? That would be just awesome in the background. Let's see. I joined your Discord and sent you an email for an invite. Okay, Mo, I'll look for that. I haven't been on there. Like I said, the holidays, it's been crazy. Did you see anything on the update on the version router of the Generation 2 for free? I have not, Peter. I have not seen that as of yet, but I'm going to keep my eyes open, see what's going on. Did you also see about the IPO of Starlink? Yes. So the IPO, I talked about that in like 2 videos ago, the IPO going on, and it's going to be over 1.5 trillion once it does go live, you know, once we actually see the paperwork. So I think it's going to be over 1.5 trillion. I think it'll be closer to 2 to 2.5 trillion. It is a nasty company. It is massive, massive. People don't even understand, man. I wish I could have got in at the beginning, but they didn't have anything to get into. Did you also see the IPO? Yes, we did the IPO. Missed that boat. Yes. I got an upgrade Generation 1, Generation, okay, for router. Yes. Shannon, with 10 free memberships, please say thank you to Shannon. Drop That Game, Kerm, Sticks, Eric, JDR, Underworld, World, I don't know, 64, Nomad, 3030, Franker, Border, something, I don't know. You guys got free membership. Weather Cat, 62. Anyways, if you got a free membership, say thank you to Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Geeky Gardens. I like that. I plan to get get a Mini by June before I hit the road. Should I wait till May? I think June is good enough. We're gonna see. I want to say by January, March. I'm gonna say by April, for sure, we will see another version of Starlink. Now, it could happen like February, March, but I'm going to say by April, we should see a different version. There's going to be some upgrades and updates in it that will not be put to fruition until the version 3 satellites are up there, but they're going to be baked in, okay? So just hang tight for that. Peter says, light that shit up. I will do it, Peter. Peter, just for you. Let me see. We will make believe that Fabiola is sitting here with her hair, as she has, next to me. We're going to light it up. It is cold in here. I don't know. This thing's freezing. I don't even know it's going to light. Anyways, we're going to light it up and see if it's like a little torch or if it blows a big, massive torch out to here like it does sometimes. All right? So here we go. We're going to light it up. 1, 2, and 3. Jesus. You see? Now, if she was here, I would have got kicked or hit or something. It was like out to here. I don't know with this thing. And it's like I don't do anything, but now if she tried it, it would literally be this long. I don't know. It's crazy. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate that. Anyways, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So what did you guys think about this? I'm going to give you some questions, okay? Because I want, you know what? We got 100, 150, 120. We got a bunch of people here today. So any questions you have, put them in the chat. But I got some questions for you, okay? And it has to do with my last video because I really enjoyed it. And it had to do with NASA finding life, basically amino acids on a satellite called Bennu. And then there was the entire whole thing going back and forth with the rock that was going at 134,000 miles per hour that there's no way that we could possibly catch up to. That was called 3I Atlas, right? And that they were like, it has its own propulsion system, all this shit. And people were like, oh, there's no way for it to go that fast. And the reason why they were saying that it couldn't go that fast is because a normal rock could travel at, let's say, 63,000 miles per hour, just like Bennu. But we could catch up to it. And the reason being is we know where it's going to be at any given time because it's kind of stuck in the solar rotation, okay? Whereas the 3I Atlas wasn't. Instead of it doing this thing, 3I Atlas is doing this thing. It's straight through, right? So it's not interacting with the sun's gravitational pull. So to be able to catch up with it would be next to impossible. Now people were saying that, hey, you know, going 134,000 miles per hour, you know, this has to have some type of propulsion built into it. There's no way that it can go that fast because normal asteroids would go at like 63,000 miles per hour, like Bennu, so on and so forth. But what they don't understand is that this rock, they figured out was, or they were guessing based on whatever, was around 7.1 billion years old. 7.1 billion. That's like older than our sun, right? So it's old. 7.1 billion years. So people are like, well, why? It has to have propulsion to go that fast. No, it doesn't. Why is that? Because we could basically send a rock or a probe into the sun before getting to the sun, veer off, and use the sun's pull, right? Its gravitational pull to fling us at close to 200,000 miles per hour. So it doesn't need to have propulsion. That's all it has to do is go by a star in the course of the last 7.1 billion years, fling itself around, and now all of a sudden you have something traveling at 134,000 miles per hour without a problem. So, you know, you always get these people, they talk about this stuff and it's like, I don't know, you know, like if you do anyways, like I said, anything you want to talk about this, put it into the chat. So here's a question for you. They found, all right, and I want to know what you think about it. They found on this rock, Bennu, they found, if you're new, so just listen up, they found 14 amino acids encased in this polymer, okay? And when they went inside the polymer, they cracked it open, they found the 14 amino acids, but we know that life is 20 amino acids, right? So where's the other 6? And like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, at the beginning of the live, what they did is they melted down the polymer and they found out that it melted down into ammonia and formaldehyde. And ammonia and formaldehyde, they end up creating the last 6 amino acids. So now you actually have on this rock 20 amino acids to form life. Kinda, sorta. And that's where shit kind of goes south because people don't dig into too much deeper than that. I'm going to give you a little bit more information. I want to know your thoughts on this, okay? So, life as we know it, okay, use L, not R, left-handed, not right-handed, left-handed amino acids 100% of the time. If you took a right-handed amino acid and stuck it in one of our DNA chain, it would break it, right? It just can't accept it. It has to be L. What they found on this asteroid is it had L's and R's. And it's exactly 50% of each. But we can't use R's for anything. That's life. But substance can. So what I was thinking is I said, you know, well, how can we make life, or how was life being able to be made way back in prehistoric times when these meteors were coming in, all right? How is that even possible? Because there would have to be something to sort out those L's and R's. If not, it's just like a mess. It's like a bunch of mud. And one of the things that I found out was, and I didn't even know about this, was quartz was very abundant back in the prehistoric time, right? Quartz. And I found out that quartz come in two different versions, an L version and an R version. I didn't know that. So an L version obviously has its lattice all in L form. The R has the lattice all in R form. So those quartz crystals could be acting as a filter, a filtration, to house on the lattice, to house all of the L's on one and all the R's on the other. So the life that we know it would be on the L quartz. Now, is that how it happened? I don't know. They had theories about a pool and a clay bottom to the pool and the ebb and the flow from the moon and the moving the ocean over these waiting pools over and over and depositing and depositing and depositing. Who knows, okay? But I thought that was kind of fascinating that it actually has both on there. So anyways, as far as looking at it a little bit further, what I was saying in my video, I was talking about maybe these, what people talk about in these videos, and I see everyone talking about this, there's life on just because you have 20 amino acids, you don't have life. Just because, and also it did have ribose also, if you didn't know, sugar, right? So just because you have that, you don't have life. What you also need is the recipe. Just because you have all the ingredients, it doesn't mean that you can make a cake. You need a recipe, meaning that you actually have to put on the lattice all of the A and G and A. You have to put those in order. If not, that when these people try doing these bio modified stuff, when you start flipping stuff, you end up with things breaking, like a missing eye, hairs. You can't do that, that shit needs to be in order. It needs to have some type of structure, and it has to be an exact script, a program. Where did that program come from, guys? I want to know, where did it come from? Because we know that all of the asteroids have the amino acids as well as the sugars, the ribose that we need for life. But where did the program for it to actually first start? Where did that come from? Let me know in the chat. I would love to know, you guys, what you think about that. How is that even possible, right? Let me see. Moving down, Geeky Garden says thanks for using for the summer on the road. Absolutely, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Mick says, let's see. Equipment in the 60s used ammonia, water vapor, hydrogen, and methane while zapping with electricity created amino acids. You're onto something. Yes, Mick. And that was in the 60s. And that was something that I was thinking about, how lightning could have made this whole shit work. Because during that period of time, there was a ton of lightning, tons of storms, and a lot of quartz all over the ground, everywhere. Lots of quartz. So, anyways, your thoughts, and I'll give you my thoughts. Let me see. Mo says, yep, it's cold outside, hot inside. Yes. By the way, 55 degrees in Daytona. Still pretty cold. Question. Should we run, this is from Welsh Sun Farm, should we turn on the mini weekly for a few hours? There's no reason not to. Turn it on. It's not going to hurt. Turn it on. Especially if you have that $5 plan, turn it on. Leave it on. Doesn't make a difference. Put it in your window inside your house. Doesn't matter. It's going to get some signal. It'll have plenty of signal to be able to do any kind of updates that it need to do. 1983, TW says, I hope NASA never finds life on other planets because our useless government would just end up sending them our taxpayers' money. Yeah. And, 1988, TW, probably so. Probably so. If we found life on another planet, for sure, we would be sending money for something, for absolutely something. Geeky Garden says, it's been fun seeing all the hype about the 3i Atlas, but it's not from around here, so it follows rules we don't really understand. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, 3i Atlas comes from, like I said, it's been, they're dating at like 7.1 billion years, so where in the hell it comes from is like, you're talking about the outskirts of, I wouldn't even, it's probably going to be outer Milky Way, right? It's going to be way the hell out there. 7.1, that's like older than our sun. So, I mean, yeah, it's been traveling forever. That was one of the things that I talked about in my video. You know, people said, oh, you know, maybe the aliens are sending these rocks specifically to the planets that have water. Well, if 3i Atlas has anything to say about it, and the thing's been traveling for the last 7.1 billion years, no one sent it in a specific path to get to anywhere that has water. This is a shotgun effect. This is the panspermia type of process, the dandelion process, where seeds just blow. Okay, there's no one fired that off and said is going to travel for 7.1 billion years and then it's going to hit a massive water. That's not feasible. that just, the numbers don't work out there, you know? So is it possible? Of course, but I just don't think so. Peter says, trapped air, excess pressure over time, air can seed into a fuel tank or change the temperature can cause the pressure inside the seal lighter to, that could be increase when the valve is open. That's possible. Absolutely, Peter. How do I join the Discord? So the Discord, you should be able to get into the Discord if you go to JCristina.com. And then at the top, let me do this. Let me see if it's even working. I don't know. Sometimes, you know, I think stuff is working and then it just doesn't. So if I go here, and then you see over here at the top, it says Community Portal. If I go to Community Portal, it says Community Portal here, okay? If you come down here, see this creative Discord server, you have the Discord server here, returning member. If you're a returning member, you can go to here. If you're not, you can just go to the creative Discord server here. And then you could be a free member, you can pay if you want. It's completely up to you. And then you just select it. So you should be able to get in like this. I hope so. But I will be looking at this more probably during this week, and then I will let you know if it's something that is working or not working, because some people said they had some problems with it. So we'll see. Try to join. If not, just hang tight. I should have something for you by next week. Let's see. Moving on here. I've asked a million times how everything was created, and if something created it, then what created the endless circle? That's from HCL. Yeah. So yeah, you know. So and that's one of those forever loops, right? So if someone created the universe, I always say this, okay? So if someone created the universe, right? We know that our solar system is this big, right? We know that our Milky Way is this big. We know the universe is basically in perpetuity. You know, it's like forever. It's massive. So if someone created that, the architect of that, how big would they be? Kind of an interesting question to me, because if you were an architect and you were building something, would you be the size of an atom building something that vast? Or would you be the size that vast building it? You follow what I'm saying? Like, how big would the creator be? When I say big, I mean the size. What would be the size of the creator? You know, those are the type of weird questions that come to my mind just because of the vastness of things, right? How big things are. I want to know. It's Ant-Man. Yeah, there you go. Ant-Man, let me see. I have like these questions sometimes. What do we have here? JIRGEVA programs. DNA came from God, of course. There you go. DNA came from God, of course. My blood flows slow when it goes under 60. Yeah, when you're in Florida for a long period of time, your blood definitely flows a lot slower. when it gets cold, for sure. A simulator. I guess a simulator, Mo said. Is it a simulator? Is it a simulator? Are we programs? That's a good theory. I mean, there's people that say that we are programs. Here's something that is absolutely baffling to me. If you take a single cell of ours, a single cell, and pull out the DNA, our DNA from that single cell, and you put the DNA back to back, right? It would basically stretch out the size of our solar system, is how long the DNA strand would be, right? Massive. And that's why when they're using these supercomputers to try to figure things out, they have a hard time with it. See, what's going to end up happening, and you could put this in your pipe and smoke it. What's going to happen in our lifetime, everyone is sitting here listening to this, what's going to happen is quantum is going to happen. And these quantum computers are going to start being able to do math at this crazy speed. Speeds where like today's encryption would literally be cracked like in over like a Sunday lemonade. I mean, so fast that it's just unbelievable, right? But see, even with quantum computers handling speeds that great, the problem is they still would not be able to figure out the recipe for us. The only way that they can do it is to reverse engineer it, meaning that instead of trying every combination in the lock, the quantum computer would x-ray the lock and build a key specific to that lock. Does that make sense? So instead of trying every combination, trillions, which is impossible, it would take billions of years, right? If you just simply build a key specific to that lock, would be the answer. And I think that's what's going to end up happening with quantum. So we'll see. And, to me, it's scary because there's too many freaks out there that want to be God and make shit that they shouldn't make. So I really do think in the next 10 years, there's going to be a lot of not necessarily just cloning, but research done on DNA that really is going to startle a lot of people, okay? The amount of stuff that they're going to be able to mutate and just change at will is going to be really crazy. It's going to be kind of crazy. And I think that it will be slowed down by big pharma because what they will be able to find out is how to cure everything, because they will go on a DNA level and just fix it. But the problem is then big pharma would go out of business. What does that mean? It can't happen. So there will be a lot of pushback, but luckily for things like Grok and other models that might be a little bit more lenient, like Elon is, to allow things to get out there, I think we will see them, even though they will try to be subdued, suppressed, shadowed. But that's just my personal opinion. All right. I don't know. What say you? What do you guys think? Let's see. Will the Coyote ever run the Acme? Yes. The Acme. Do you remember the Acme mail order? The quantum computer is coming up with 42. Radioactive Texan. A lot of times it is about the question. People always are always trying to find the answer to stuff. But the problem is they never ask the right question, It's the guy that walks up to the tree and says, God damn, that tree is big. And then the other guy goes, And he turns around and he walks back about a half a mile. He turns back around and he looks. He's like, that's a little tree, but that's a big forest. It's all in perspective. And a lot of times what people do is they get very myopic. They get really just closed-minded and just like this, right? And they don't look, they can't see the tree for the forest or the forest for the trees. They can't figure it out, right? They can't just step back and see the big picture. They're like in too tight, right? They're blinded by the big tree. So that's just the way I look at it, you know? But anyways, Mick says, the book Free Will by Sam Harris. I haven't read that, actually. Fascinating. Points out so many factors about the life and what I think about free will, but if deeply analyzed, they influenced by other factors. Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of really great movies that I find very interesting. You know, people don't realize this, that I think I was looking at something on Instagram or whatever. If you look at like The Matrix, remember the Matrix movie? There's a lot of stuff in there that's just like pretty damn spot on. But anyways, if you look at Neo's, like, I think it was his passport or something, when you look at it and you zoom in on it, the date on the passport was September 11th, 2001. And that movie was made in the 90s, I think it was. Is that weird? September 11th, 2001? And that happens all the time with movies. It always like kind of like floors me. Like, how does this stuff get into these movies that end up being so foreboding? And they just, you know, it's like the whole, you know, it both like, it's almost like they know things before they happen, or they are told to put secret things into their movies by a higher entity, government, whatever. Because there's a lot of stuff in movies that later on you're like, wait a second, was that in there? And then you look back, you're like, holy shit, that was there. How did it get there? Why is it there? You know, that's the kind of stuff that I think about, you know? That to me is fascinating. Anyways, what do we got? At JCristina. Any kind of questions? At JCristina. We're hanging out for a little bit longer. Peptides are a great example of treatments. Yes, everything's peptides today, right? Everything is peptides. Are a great treatment, not being openly made. Available to the general public, absolutely. They are fantastic. I use the Wolfpack. Yes, peptides is a big shit. Is a big, big, big thing. And yes, they don't want, Big Pharma don't want you to know about anything that can possibly help you. You know, you can see I got purple mark here, right? I just had to have blood drawn today. And I was talking to the girl there, and I'm like, you know, this insurance shit is just completely screwed. And I had a test done, and the test, she said, would be like $900 and some for the blood work. And with my insurance, it'll be like $200 and $300 or something. I'm like, what the frick? That's just crazy. And then we started talking about like Big Pharma and like what they do. And I'm like, you know, if I want a PSA test to check my prostate, the insurance company will only allow me to do it once per year. The same thing for her. She's like, yeah, if I have a mammogram done, because I know I have problems in my family, I can only do a mammogram once a year. I want it twice a year, but she can't have it. Or if not, she's got to pay full fare to do it herself, right? I mean, this is the kind of stuff this is the kind of stuff the insurance companies do, because they would rather have you sick than well, right? Because they don't want to prevent, they want to Band-Aid after the fact, which to me is just absolutely just craziness. And anyway, so the woman over there at Quest Diagnostics was telling me basically the same thing that I already know, and she's in the field all the time, you know? Anyways, I digress, as always do here. But peptides, Mick, are absolutely awesome. I hear a lot of good things, a lot of good things. There's a lot of big people that are now talking about peptides and even selling their own peptides. It's like all of a sudden it's like a cottage type of business. I don't know. Anyways, predictive programming. This is from Go Config, sorry. Yeah, predictive programming. Yeah. You know, so would our DNA run on, would you want your DNA run on Apple, iOS, on Windows, or on Linux? What would you want your DNA run on? Linux, Windows, or Apple, iOS, macOS? You let me know. Think about The Simpsons. Don't even think about The Simpsons. The Simpsons have so many clues in that cartoon. It's insane. You can go through so many of them, and they predict shit that happens all the friggin' time. Okay? These writers are not psychic. These writers are obviously getting information and putting it into those cartoons because they're made to or asked to. I mean, I don't know any other way about it. I really don't know. Well, yeah, The Simpsons is crazy. Matrix came out in 1999. There you go. Yeah. 2001, only 3 years away, hence the number 3. Yeah. Right? 99. And in 2001 is the September 11th. And yet the passport read exactly that, according to what I saw. It's crazy. Time travelers make movies. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the idea of traveling time, if that's even a thing. I don't know. I have questions about that, just on the math behind time travel. But that's another thing. Yeah, Nostradamus, absolutely. Jeffrey, thank you. Nostradamus, he did a lot of predicting, right? A lot. And of course, you'll get the people say, oh, well, he could have said that and meant something else, and now you're taking it this way. And yeah, that could be the case, but you can only do that so many times, right? He got a lot of stuff right. Peptides like cellular peptide cake with mint frosting. Trek episode with the IT Commander data. Yeah. How many type of Star Trek episodes were very, very predictive? There was a lot of stuff that happened in Star Trek episodes that later on was like, did I see that like 2 years ago? You're like, yeah, you did. Let's see. Moving on here. If you have a question, at JCristina. I wish someone would do a movie on a man named Royal Raymond Rife. Rife? Okay. The only problem is someone would probably kill you if you tried. So, isn't that always the case? My father knew a guy way back in the 50s or in the 60s who made a motor that ran on water. And this was in Connecticut, I believe it was. And it worked. But he wasn't around. I don't know. He probably fell on a knife like 16 times. Sometimes that happens. You just keep falling on it over and over. But, or you decide to hang yourself with a tie or something. This kind of stuff happens, especially whenever you make something that could possibly jeopardize these big corporations. It just happens. It's like accidental. Certainly accidental. But yeah, that happens. You want to invent stuff that doesn't hurt the big wigs. Invent stuff that they don't give a shit about. Or just allow them to buy it before they kill you. Oh, God. Oh, no, Shannon. Are you on the damn slots? I hope you're making money, Shannon. It says the slot attendant says, say hello, Joe. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for watching, slot attendant. I appreciate you. That's awesome. Avoid doctors, Mark says. Let me see here. Let me see. Cure is to pay customer loss. Yeah. Radioactive text and low tech Greg says, yes. Arch Linux, by the way. Yes. I'm not a fan of Arch, but definitely Linux. I would definitely not trust my body to Windows to end up rebooting or just dying. And Windows, it was never going to happen, but possibly Apple, because Apple is obviously a derivative of Unix. But still, I would stick with Linux. If I'm going to have to run my body on any type of program, it's going to definitely be run on Linux, period. And a custom kernel, of course. No bloat. Not Ubuntu, completely bloated. But yeah, custom kernel. If you guys don't know it, Elon Musk, all of Elon Musk's products, everything, I don't care what it is run on Linux. And almost all of them are run on home-baked Linux kernels, which I think is fascinating. I mean, like the SpaceX Starlink satellites, their network operation centers, their POPs, their point of presence, their ground stations, everything runs on Linux. Everything runs on Linux. Which is great. Okay, it just shows the power of Linux in comparison to the other OSs out there, for sure. Let's see here. Geeky Garden says, my DNA won't be run on any platform. I know where my ancestors came from. See, there you go. He knows where his ancestors came from. I know where mine do, where it came from too. It's just, I just can't take it far enough back. You know? Like even taking ancestry back, let's say 500-600 years, even 1,000 years, it's kind of like a drop in the bucket, right? Considering how long we've been here. But yeah. Let's see. Moving down. Crom says, I'm buggy in real life. Maybe I'm running on Windows. Yes. If you're buggy and you feel like you have to reboot all the time, or you do like the blue screen of death and your wife is talking to you, but you're staring into the abyss, just tell her that you're rebooting. Because you're running on your OS is Windows. You're running on Windows and you're rebooting. The Simpsons writers are Mason. Yeah, probably, Mo. I wouldn't doubt it. There are, the Masons, they know a lot of shit that a lot of other organizations don't. And I know this for fact, absolutely. Doctors are trained as pharma salespeople. They are, 110%. When you go to a doctor, for some reason, you're always prescribed whatever the latest drug is, right? Whatever they're getting, that's what you're being prescribed. Even if there is something else, they're still prescribing that because that is what they're getting their kickback, fishing, excursion, special times and I'm not going to go there. Anyways, there is reasons why you are prescribed the drugs that you are prescribed by your doctor. And it's not always because it's the best. Keep that in mind. Be your own doctor, people. You got ChatGPT, you got Gemini, you got Grok, right? You got there's so many AI models out there now that you can cross-check and check and triple check all of them between each other and come up with some really good pharma information on what you should take, not take, and all the rest of stuff. And then you could also look at the stuff that you are currently taking and compare that, once again, to all of the large language models and see what they all have to say about the drugs that you're taking and how they interact with the other shit that you are taking also. Or maybe the organics that you are taking. How the interaction is. Because a lot of these doctors don't know diddly shit when it comes to interaction, especially when it's not with other pharmaceuticals. But a lot of people today are taking stuff that might not be pharma. How do they interact, right? So definitely, consult those models. Those models are really powerful. We need to be our own doctors these days. You really need to, and if you are going to a doctor, that's fine, but be very educated. Don't just go in there and think that this guy is like the next thing. He's basically a mini god. He's not a mini god. He's definitely have problems. There's a lot of falsehoods. I remember going to a doctor, telling him what the problem is, and he's like, wait a second. He literally went on his laptop and went into ChatGPT, but their own version that was customized for for this specific doctor's office. ChatGPT, basically, and it would go and break down all of my symptoms and come up with something. I'm like, shit, I could have done that at home. You're the doctor. You shouldn't chat GPT shit. You know? I don't get it. But anyways, yeah, that's for another day, I think. Low Tech Greg says, I'd at least try a Elon OS. Linux distro, absolutely. Elon, so yeah, Elon's Tesla is running on Linux. His robot, Optimus, running on Linux. All this shit is all running on Linux. 110%. I don't know iOS. My first Linux was kernel 90.95. Wow, been there for a while. Israel book, yes, with a CD, yes. And we can go through some Futhark runes, Geeky Gardens, and maybe we can figure that out. Maybe we'll throw some runes. That'd be fun on a show. We'll throw runes. Maybe we'll do tarot. People will be like, what are you doing, Joe? You're like Catholic. You know, I love everything, you know. I love anything. And you know what? Where you find your truth, that's where you should be, right? Don't let anyone tell you what to believe. Believe what you believe in. I think that's what happens a lot of times in today's world. People just believe in what the narrative is for the day or for the week or for the year. And they just follow, right? There's a lot of lemmings. They'll literally just follow, heel and just heel and step behind people and just fall over like a bridge. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Be a free thinker. I don't know. Reboot, restore, reload the old days. Yes. Format C colon. There it is. Format C colon. What is it? /F? /R? /F? I don't know. Yeah. We don't want to format C colon. I remember in the 80s, there was a guy in Florida who said he had a carburetor that would get about 8 miles per gallon. Yes, absolutely. He was going to do a report back when he got DC and was the last I heard of him. Yeah. I remember there was a guy that used to convert, Mercedes from gas to propane, but with a carburetor that would use such a small amount of propane that it would get like 100 plus miles per gallon, let's say, in the equivalent thereof. I'm like, oh God. His name was Foster. I don't know if he's still around or what happened. I don't know. It's like whenever you do shit like that, it's like, oh God, I just invented something that is going to hurt the oil company. And you're like, oh shit. Don't tell anybody. Don't go to DC and tell people. Sell it. Or if you don't want to sell it, put your paper online for everyone to download, and now you won't end up deaded. I said it. Yeah. I'm going to play doctor for a second. You don't feel good. Here, take this. 10 years later, you know there are more problems. Absolutely. They gave you, I know, about 3 more drugs to take. Even though, yeah. So that's what they do, right? They give you one drug, and then that drug interacts with something else. They have to give you something else to counteract that. And then those 2 drugs are fucked up, and then you have to take something else to counteract the shit that one. Yeah. I love that. That's always the best. The real Mo. I have 10 minutes left, folks. All right. Last questions. I'm going to get out of here too. So Mo's got 10 minutes. I have 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I am out. Last questions, throw them in here. This has been awesome. So good. Oh, here we go. William, format C colon, asterisk, /Y, so that it definitely goes through. You don't have to be prompted. I like it. Format C colon. Those are the days, right? I think I still have the floppies for 3.1, I think. Windows, the original Windows, like even back before that, as well as DOS. I think I have the floppy for DOS too, for Cobalt, for Fortran. I think I have some 8-inch, the big ass floppies too for some, I don't know. I'm a dork. I don't know. Let me see, fax format. I'm the feature guy. I don't want to confuse the chicks, but then again, yes, Mo. Bob Lazar built water pumped car. There you go. Water pump cars. Bob Lazar. Radio Shack color computer. Do you remember that? I love the Radio Shack color computer. I personally like the Commodore VIC-20 and the 64. And before that, we had the Sinclair. And before that, we had the old IBM big ass thing. It was like this, the big chunker. Yeah. It was fun burning EEPROMs back in the day. 75 years old, no medicine. Wow, Mark, 75. Look at that. 75 years old, no medications. That's what I want to hear. 75 years old, no medications. Congratulations, Mark. That's probably why you're not on medications, but as soon as you get on one, you got to get on 10 or more. Good job. Good job. I have the Windows 95 disc. Yes. NT. I remember NT. NT was actually good. Good. In big air quotes. Windows. Yes. 286. Remember the 286? Yeah. People don't remember the 286. They remember the 386 stuff. 486, 586, but not the 286. But yeah, 286. I remember. I used to sell software for about 13 years. I had a corporation. Sold pallets of software internationally. That was like where I kind of cut my teeth. That was a lot of fun. Brain Quest on floppy. Yes. Seventh Guest. Remember Seventh Guest? The 11th Hour on floppy. Yeah. I used to sell so many different things. Let's see. 6 colors. Yeah, you don't need a lot of colors. Netscape. Remember Netscape? Netscape. Ask Chiefs. Yes. I love it. I have Bigfoot HDD. Don't remember how many inch. Yeah, it's probably a 5.25. Yeah, the old ones were like these big, massive 8-inch deals. And we had the tape backups and all the rest of the stuff back in the day. No drinking or smoking or drugs. There you go. That's it. No drinking, no smoking, no drugs. Mark did it. 75 years old. Absolutely no medicine. No meds at all. My C64, that's a Commodore 64 if you don't know. Still boots. But it won't read any of those 4. Yeah, the floppies are a problem. And then also, remember the Trash 80? Or this, or the TS1000? I remember the Trash 80. That was awesome. I used to enjoy that. That was a lot of fun. Still boots though. Wow, man. See, you have some of the old ones still. I don't have mine. It's kind of sad. I had a Franklin Ace 1000, which was the equivalent to an Apple II. Not even an E. Apple II. Can't find that either. God. IRC. Remember the IRC? Jesus. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Or AOL. Holy shit. Remember AOL? Mick says, did it complete body transformation 2025? And I'm off all of my medications. That's awesome. With the exception of a very small dose of hypertension medicine. Yeah, I mean, if you need something for blood pressure or something like that, it is what it is. Hormones is a big issue. Testosterone is a big problem right now with males. A lot of males, their testosterone's completely fucked. I think it's something in the water or something in food that everyone is eating, because the women's testosterone is screwed too, which hurts them a lot. Because testosterone, and anyways, I'm not going to get into the whole deal, but yeah, there's certain hormones that are completely screwed in males and females that never used to be in the past. And I think a lot of it has to do with the bioengineered shit. It's just fucking with us. But people don't realize it or know it. And that's why you don't see like one class of people having this problem. You see it's prolific. It's like, it doesn't matter. Everyone has this problem. You talk to anyone like, yeah, my testosterone is at 200 and something. It should be at 800. It's like, yeah, I know. Everyone is like this. Everyone's in the same boat. We're all screwed. So, and that has to be something that everyone is eating, drinking, breathing, or something, no matter where you are on the planet. Somehow it's getting to you. Why that is, I don't know. So that's a whole nother story. Web TV, yes. TRT completely transformed me. My energy is now through the roof. Yes, Mick. A lot of people are on testosterone replacement treatment or TRT. It definitely improves. There's a lot of people a lot of males out there that don't understand what's wrong with them. And then they go and have blood work done and they notice that, their testosterone should be at like 800 or 600 at their age. And it's at like 200 or less. And they don't know why. They're lethargic. They can't think right. Things are just not the way they used to be or whatever. And then they get onto a replacement therapy and all of a sudden they're back to the way they used to be. So yeah, and the same thing holds true with women. People don't realize this, but these women are having major problems with it because their testosterone are getting lower. And when that happens, you have your estrogen levels. And basically, if you have an overage of testosterone, your estrogen will kind of go, they compensate with each other, right? So if you have too much testosterone, you'll actually build more estrogen. And then it goes kind of back and forth. So the women have no testosterone, their estrogen is screwed, and now they end up with other problems that they shouldn't have. So I think I hope Kennedy fixes some of this stuff, but this shit runs deep, guys. This is for a whole nother video. This isn't for a live. This is literally for like a 4-hour documentary. There is problems. There is shit at foot. There is some serious issues going on. But yeah, just like what Mick said, take that to heart. Look at this. I have a 300 baud card if anyone wants it. That's awesome. 300 baud modem. Damn. I used to have a stack of 12 or 15 of them when I used to run bulletin board, BBS, down in Coral Springs, down here in South Florida. I used to run the Twilight Zone, is what it was called, BBS, bulletin board, right? And it was done on a shit ton of these 300 baud modems. And then over time, we went to the 1200 baud modems and 2600, and finally moved into the 5200s. And then we ended up shutting it down. But man, Dahlia Match and my board, the Twilight Zone, were like the biggest ones down here in South Florida back in the day. Like late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, the early 80s, somewhere on there. Yeah. Anyways. Good night, Mo. Thank you for being here, my friend. Appreciate you. Great show. I'm going to go. All right, guys. Listen, I am out of here. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, I'm looking for just an awesome 2026 moving forward. If there's anything that you guys want me to do or work on or any kind of projects, let me know. Send me email. Go to JCristina.com. JCristina.com. Send me over a comment in there. Send me over a contact. It's going to go into my email that I'm not currently reading. So just chill out for a minute. I will get to it. Like I said, it's a new year. We're going to get into it. But if there's anything you want me to look at, or if you want to, bring something, make me aware of something, do that. Just send it over to me through that. I would appreciate it. There's a lot of you guys, clue me into stuff that I was not aware of, and then I'll do a video on it. And it's something important that everyone else enjoys. So definitely do that. Anyways, thank you, Mo. Thank you, Shannon, for everything that you do. Peter and all of the rest of you, thank you for a wonderful 2025. And now moving into 2026, I'm excited. I'm stoked. I'm ready for it. And like I said, anything you want me to do, let me know. If it's something that I love to do, I will do it. It doesn't make a difference if YouTube likes it or not. I try to do one video for me and one video for YouTube these coming weeks. That's what my goal is. 2 videos, one for me, one for YouTube. I know it sounds stupid, but we have to do it. That's just the way it is. Anyways, many blessings to all of you guys. Have a great weekend. And we will see you on Monday. Watch for this video, and you'll see me hold up this, or actually draw this. Delta V. Delta V. Take care, guys. Blessings. We'll see you soon.